what's your take on? I got this chaos in the rankings. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If TCU loses, and Michigan wins this weekend, and they go to the Ohio State-Michigan game, I know 5, 6, and 7 each have a loss, and LSU has 2 losses. But what is your thoughts on if TCU loses and Michigan-Ohio State, the loser of that game, do they stay the 1, 2, 3, 4 again?
A lot of it depends on what happens around them.
First and foremost, assume that Georgia beats LSU in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, then LSU's out.
Then LSU is out,
yep.
and you've got Georgia,
the winner of Michigan, Ohio State, and then if TCU loses, he brought up because right now Michigan's ahead of TCU, right? Mm-hmm. They both are undefeated. If they both lose one game, Michigan's loss, as long as it's the loser of Michigan, Ohio State, that game has to be a classic. I don't think a blowout. Somebody gets blown out or loses by
within 10 points, single digits.
A one-score game, I think, could get the loser in. So if that's probably the first prerequisite. The loser, if they get compared to a one-loss TCU team, both Michigan and Ohio State are ahead of TCU when they're undefeated. If TCU loses, they won't lose to a team as good as the loser of Michigan and Ohio State, right? So there's a good chance they will stay ahead of TCU. The question is, will they stay ahead of Tennessee, and will they stay ahead of a one-loss USC Pac-12 champion? I think they might have some leverage against Tennessee. I'm not sure they'd have leverage against a one-loss USC.
Yeah, USC is the one that's the team in the country that can improve themselves the most because the resume that is still left to be determined, they're all ranked teams. So they can beat up 3 ranked teams and they could vault themselves up. Particularly, I mean, it has to be a loss from TCU and whoever loses the Michigan-Ohio State game. But if it's just coming down to the loser of the Michigan-Ohio State game and TCU, if TCU has lost, I think it's the loser of the Michigan-Ohio State game gets in.
USC's schedule up until now is every bit as bad as anybody in the Big Ten. However, they will improve it in the next couple of weeks with UCLA and Notre Dame. And a Pac-12 title game.
I don't know if it's as bad as anybody in the Big Ten.
It's pretty bad.
To this point. Let me just take a quick look and see who they played. I mean, they played Utah and lost, so that doesn't help them out. And, yeah, it's pretty bad.
But they will improve it in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, well, they can. They may not. I mean, USC could go all Pac-12 and, they've got – I mean, they're playing at UCLA, which is, in Pasadena. Then they play home against Notre Dame. And if they get past both of those opponents, then they're going to have to take on Oregon or Utah for the Pac-12 championship. And Utah already beat them, and they haven't played Oregon. So who knows?